Guys, we're glad to have you back. We continue our WebPromo SEO Day, and I'm glad to give floor to my colleague Anton Schulke, who will continue working with you guys till the end of the conference. Anton, please welcome him.
Hi guys, we continue our marathon, and next one is Moz. Yeah, Moz has opened any door. Tori Cushing couldn't make it live, so it's gonna go in recordings. But it's not gonna lose any attraction. So just stay with us. Watch Tori Cushing.
Hey guys, this is Tori from Moz, and I'm really happy to be speaking to you guys today. I have recorded this especially for you guys, so this is just kind of that exclusive update. But I'm with Moz, and I'm a customer trainer here, so I train people on how to do the best SEO they can possibly do while using our tools. So today what I'm going to talk about is competitive metrics inside Moz tools and how you can use them for competitive research. So basically the idea behind competitive research is that you are your own site, you're doing awesome, you're doing all these cool things, but you may want to look for areas that you could kind of improve on and take advantage of. And one of the ways you can do that is through competitive research. So you have another competitor who's doing really, really well in a different area, maybe in link building or with ranking for a particular keyword, something like that. Maybe their on-page optimization is really well done. And you want to go and kind of check out what they're doing, check out the competition, and then apply that to your site where it's appropriate. So we have a few different tools to kind of help you along in this journey and beat out your competitors. And first, we're going to talk about a few of the metrics that you need to know. So we have search visibility and competitive metrics that are kind of important before you start jumping into this whole analysis. The first one is domain authority and page authority. So you're going to see those a lot in Moz tools. You're going to see those in Open Site Explorer and in the Moz Bar. And they're really cool kind of metrics. They're Moz metrics that we've collected based on backlink data and link profile data in general, also PageRank, and how well these different sites are performing online, so visibility, all those good metrics. And together, we put those into one big metric that's called domain authority. So we give you kind of an estimate on how authoritative a particular site is across the web. And then just as a domain would be that kind of domain authority, a page would also be that same page authority. So instead of for the entire domain, which would be like moz.com, that whole domain, everything underneath it, a page would maybe be more like moz.com/blog. The next one is for your keyword rankings. So keyword rankings, super important. We can also get ideas from our competitors with this. The idea behind this is when you look for a keyword like a keyword ranking tool inside the search engines, and Moz turns up maybe number 2 or 3, then we can also see other competitors who are up there, maybe like SEMrush, turning up number 1, or something like that. And I can see how well those pages on my competitor sites are optimized for these particular keywords. So one thing that we can do is set up campaigns inside Moz Analytics and look at how well our competitors are doing for particular keywords. So we have our competitors, where we add those into our rankings. We have our top ranking keywords, and we have our keyword opportunities. So different areas where we can see that our competitors could do better, and then we could also kind of take that and just apply it to our site. One of the other things are backlinks. So inbound external links, which is a fancy way of saying links from another site to my site. So they're inbound, but they're also from external sources. So external inbound links, links coming to me, which is a really good thing. Google sees that as an authority. So know that term, be able to recognize it inside Open Site Explorer and inside our other link tools. And also know the term under spam analysis. So understanding that there are spammy sites out there, and Google has released several different pieces of information saying that if you have a large amount of spammy sites linking to your site, that could actually hinder you in the long run. So it could actually hurt your rankings. So what you want to do with a tool like Open Site Explorer is you actually want to probably disavow those sites that are really, really spammy. So our tool offers a few different ways to look at that. So we have a whole flag system set up, which we'll get into in a little bit. But if it sets off these like red flags, and you have like 10 red flags where it's like thin content, low domain authority, not a lot of backlinks, lots and lots of category pages, like stuff like that, then it is a good chance that that site is spammy. So people want to check that out. The last thing is social shares. So we've seen this time and time again where you see that backlinks and sharing are kind of one and the same in different areas. So sometimes you'll get a whole bunch of backlinks, sometimes you'll get a whole bunch of shares, sometimes you'll get a whole bunch of both. But it does say a lot about the content in the site that we're kind of focusing on. If they have a higher amount of shares in social, then that means that this content is important to somebody and that they're sharing it with other people who they think it's going to be important with. So very important when we're looking at competitive analysis and looking at which areas of our competitor's site are really, really bomb. Next thing is in Moz Analytics. This is the first tool we're going to talk about. This is a paid tool. It's part of Moz Pro, so you don't have to pay for this tool specifically, but it comes in your whole $99 a month standard package that you get. And this part of this kind of journey is the competitive or the keyword research. So it's a big part of your competitive journey. It kind of sets the tone for a lot of the rest of the research you're going to do, especially when you're new to a particular industry and you want to make sure that your keywords are really well optimized. So say you take a list of like 30 keywords and you see that your competitors are really ranking well for 10 of them, and then another competitor is ranking really well for another 10. It's good to know. It's good to know that you kind of want to beat them out in those particular rankings and how to optimize your site and your content to do that. So when you're kind of in this snuff, our tools can help with that. First, what we want to do is just set up a campaign. So you can set up a campaign for your own site, like Moz.com, or you could set up a campaign for your competitor, which is what I'm showing here. So I set up a campaign for SEMrush.com. I added in a whole bunch of keywords. So this tool actually, it automatically generates a whole bunch of keywords that might be useful to you in your campaign creation setup, which is kind of ironically powered by SEMrush. But for the sake of this example, we get a whole bunch of keywords that we can look at. And even just in this keyword area, we can get a really nice look at what kind of keywords maybe we could grab from this list too. Either way, we can start tracking these keywords for our competitor or our site, and we can see how well they do over time. So if we have a competitive strategy where we're saying we are a pet supply store here in Seattle and we want to go and kind of dominate the market for the keyword terms pet clothes, pet flannel maybe, and like pet glasses, because it's kind of like a Seattle thing, you know, or pet costumes. And we see that our competitors are doing really well for those terms and we haven't created any content that's really particular for those terms. We're going to go out, we're going to create some content, we're going to do some pieces on it, we're going to have a page, like an article page or a learn more page about pet costumes and how to make a pet flannel, that kind of stuff. And then we'll look over time to see how our keyword rankings have increased or maybe even decreased versus our competitors. So we'll have our campaign set up and then one for our competitors and see how that correlation goes along. So when we're looking inside this tool, we can see our keyword, we can see if it's locally ranking or not, so a national keyword or something that's particular for Seattle. In this example, I would use like a local keyword for Seattle. I can see it in Google, Yahoo, Bing, Google Mobile, and I can see the change that it happens over time. I can also download that CSV. This is a really cool tool and really cool way to kind of set up your competitive analysis over time. One tool that's also really awesome is the keyword difficulty tool, again, added into that package that you have. And what this does is when you have keywords that you know you want to go for, so pet costumes or pet flannel, I'm going to put those into the keyword difficulty report. And I'm going to get a search volume estimate, which is really nice, a Google search volume estimate to see how many people are really searching for this. And then I get a score, so how difficult it might be for me to go ahead and rank for that particular keyword. So my score would be from like 1 to 100, and in this example I have a 71, so it's kind of a higher difficulty. It's a highly competitive term. That's okay. We're going to go for it anyway. Or maybe you're going to set up a kind of boundary line as in like I want to go for a report that's going to be a difficulty score less than maybe 55. You know, so you're kind of going for the easier keywords right now because maybe you're a smaller brand and you don't want to take on that much going on. Next thing what you can do is you can download this full SERP report for this particular keyword, which is getting like super granular into looking at the top 10 results for that particular keyword. So this is great for competitive analysis, especially when you're going for a particular term and you're looking for this term and you're looking for pet costumes and seeing how well everybody else is doing. You get the list of the top 10 results, and then you get to see their page authority, their number of linking root domains to that page, their domain authority, all the links, that whole count of every other link linking to their domain, which is super helpful because you really want to be able to look at, okay, who is my competition? What areas can I beat them out in? I can see that we have some low page authority and low domain authority for 2 of the results in here. Let's see if I can beat them out and get into maybe like the 3rd ranking. You can also compare 2 keywords. So if you have, let's say, pet costume and pet flannel, you can go ahead and compare those. And you can see the difficulty scores right next to each other and the search volume. You can also see that kind of change. So the second to last tool we're going to talk about is the Moz Bar, which is a super, super cool tool. It is free, completely free. It is super great. I love the Moz Bar. Like I said, it's free, which is, I can't say how much of a value that is. It's wonderful. I'm not just saying that because I work for Moz. I was using it before then too. But it's a Chrome extension. All you have to do is go and type in Moz Bar into Google, and you get this page that lets you install the bar into Chrome or Firefox. And then what it does is when you're on a particular page, it gives you a breakdown straight from here in this tool on page authority, domain authority, your external followed links or linking root domains. You get your Moz rank, you get your page rank, you get like a huge amount of information just from this tool. And you can see that just in link metrics. You can also see on-page elements, like if they have their page title set up correctly or keywords in their meta description, something like their open graph set up, anything like that. So you could go to a competitor's page and you could say, okay, well, they have a really nice page title. It's very keyword heavy. You know, it's very well optimized for what they want to go for. Let's say like pet supplies. And then you can look into their link metrics and say, okay, they have a good amount of domains linking to them, which is good. But they don't have a sitemap set up. They don't have their schema set up. They don't have their open graph set up. Those are all areas where I could kind of pull ahead and see if I could get ranking and sharing even more. So those are series areas that you can do some nice, quick, competitive research just because it pops right into the toolbar of your Chrome browser. You can also see the spam score from here, which we'll get to in just a minute, kind of the breakdown of that inside Open Site Explorer. And we can see the social shares for this page or this domain by Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Another cool aspect of the Moz Bar is that you don't have to be on a particular site to use it. So you could be just inside the search results. So say if I were looking at keywords for PPC marketing and I was searching for PPC, I could see just from these search results, I could see the page authority, domain authority, and I could go straight into the link analysis, which will take me into Open Site Explorer, which is super cool. I could also export this list straight from here, just by the little export bar right up in the top left corner. Which brings me to Open Site Explorer. It's a free tool, really, really great link metrics, and you can run this for any site. So you don't need to be an owner of Moz.com to run this report. You could run this for, any of your competitors, which I would highly recommend. So after you run it for a competitor, here I have in Raven Tools, because they provide another tool in the industry. I have the domain authority and the page authority of their homepage. I can see their spam score, which is a 3 out of 17, which is in the green. They're good to go. I can see that they have 219 just discovered links in the past 60 days, which is just discovered links. Those are all the link metrics that are pulled from Bitly tracking data. So any of those new updated links that are coming in, new content that's being shared across the web with the Bitly shortcut in it. I can also see how many links that have come here from the root domain and how many total links they have. Lastly, I have the Facebook shares and Twitter shares and Google Plus and Facebook likes, all that good stuff. So here's the inbound link section. This is kind of what I was talking about at the beginning versus the inbound external links. So these are other links that are coming to my site. So I can see here that we have a few links. Moz.com is actually linking to Raven Tools, which is great. So we have a high domain authority and a high page authority. It's good to look at. marketingland.com, Smashing Magazine. Maybe what I would like to do for my next part of my link building campaign is to go to marketingland.com and kind of reach out to them and say, hey, I see that you're linking to Raven Tools. I have this post about how to use this particular tool. Super, super great. Nice video. Here's how you walk through it. Here's how you do the thing. If you want to include a link to me, that would be super great. So another part of Open Site Explorer is the competitive multiple link metrics, which is kind of a long term, but comparing link metrics inside Open Site Explorer, which is really cool. Super great area for competitive research. So the first one I have here in this example is SEMrush. And I can see their page authority, Moz Trust, Moz Rank, number of links, all these good, awesome metrics. And then I have Moz.com as one of the competitors, because that's me. And then I have Raven Tools in here too. So I can see that Moz.com is doing a good job with their page authority, actually in every area of this particular tool. But let's say I put in a competitor like Search Engine Land. They would probably be able to kind of beat us out, at least in a few of these categories. I know that they have more external inbound links than we do. So that'd be something to consider as not just a tool competitor, but somebody who you may want to be like, okay, well, I want to be like them as even just as an authoritative, editorial kind of authority. So lastly, what I'm going to do is actually hop into Open Site Explorer live, because this is a mostly free tool. There are aspects of it that are premium aspects. So, if you want to download a whole bunch of data, then you would have to pay for a Moz subscription. But at least just for the basic, you get that with this free tool here. So I have this in here. I'm logged out of my account, so you can see it like if I were a free subscriber. So you can't get into spam analysis for free, but if you had a Moz account, you could do that, which is really super cool. You can still compare the link metrics, so I can do this right over here with searchengineland.com, and I can see that they have a higher page authority, higher page trust. We have more internal links, but they have more external, and we can get a nice breakdown of how that's going. So I can see the just discovered links over here, anchor text, link building domains, all of that good stuff. So I'd highly recommend using Open Site Explorer for some competitive research. And lastly, I just want to show you some cool aspects of the Moz Bar that we weren't able to show inside those screenshots. So let me go to pet supplies. And inside these results, I can see the Moz Bar working. I can see that I could even switch the search profile if I wanted to. So let's say that your site is getting a whole bunch of traffic from Bing, which may not be likely, but if it were, you could go ahead and switch the search profile right here from Bing to Yahoo to Google, non-personalized, any of that good stuff, and download these results. So let's say I wanted to go to pet supplies and I wanted to open up this particular page because they're a competitor of mine. Then I could go into this inspect page analysis, and I could start really looking through what's going on this page and how my competitor is doing better than I am because they're ranking number 5 and I'm ranking number 10. So I can see that they have their meta description and that they have their page title set up. They have a bunch of keywords in here which really aren't important. If you don't know that, the meta keywords, those are outdated. You don't need them anymore. Google doesn't consider them a ranking factor anymore. So really putting your efforts into the meta description would be best. You can also see here the alt text for all of the pictures on this page and any instance of H1s and H2s. So this particular page doesn't have any H1s or H2s, which is an area that you could do well with, because that kind of helps Google, when they're crawling your site, be able to read it a little bit better. And then I can see if they have a rel canonical set up, any of their robots information, all of their link metrics in here. If they have a markup, like a schema, which is the structured data that's submitted to Google so that they get the knowledge graph and that interesting data right there. Obviously, with the Open Graph protocol, that is similar, but that's for Facebook. And then Twitter cards, similar, but for Twitter. And microformats for other types of structuring data. So lastly, I can see that this is the HTTP status. So that is to 200, and that it's okay. So I would highly suggest using the Moz Bar and OpenStart Explorer specifically for your competitive research. But as you know, these other tools are still really helpful to give you this kind of full competitive research using the Moz tools. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. And get out there, do some competitive research. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll talk to you next time.